What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Dots podcast. It is currently 4:21 p.m. on February 16th. Pretty freaking good time. So a few days after the Super Bowl, and it is season 3, the kickoff of season 3, if you will,
This is
here on the
we're
home
counting this as a
sideline.
kickoff. We're counting this as a kickoff for season three.
I say this is the
Officially,
kickoff.
season three is now in the books.
Season
So
2 is in the books.
yeah, season two is in the books. Underway with season three. Obviously, I mean, season three, two down, many more to go.
It's some good stuff that we have here. And this season is going to be a lot different than the past 2 seasons. We plan on having a bunch of different people on our show than just like one or two people at special times. So it will just be a lot more interviewing with people. We'll have a lot of fun top 10 things we'll do a lot of breakdowns on
I'll be
things, and we'll
right back.
also try to get the UFL season type of stuff in there too. But here on the home sideline, here in Stevens Point, feeling much better compared to Super Bowl Sunday is your boy Brett Golf 99 Brett's Brenden Retzloff here. Hello.
And on the away sideline at Lakeland University, it's Matt Crawley, aka Matty Icy, your boy. I had to grab my headphones because I realized that my mic was picking up what you were saying. So now there's
Oh
not
yeah,
any.
yeah. You're definitely gonna need the mic, and I've been listening to our past episodes too, and like either I'm super duper loud and then you're super duper quiet, or
Yeah,
I'm super duper quiet and you're super duper loud. So hopefully that this volume is good.
should be. Um, so let me fix this real quick. Here it is. After some technical difficulties, we should be good to go.
That's what I like to hear.
There we go. Perfect. So, yeah, season three is underway for Down on the Sidelines, the Dots podcast. And what better way to start off season three than talking about, obviously, our Super Bowl recap? So, obviously, we have discovered that whenever I go to click on the script on my screen because I'm recording from my laptop. I don't have the luxurious pleasure of Brenden having two monitors.
Two
Excuse me,
monitors. That's the word.
two monitors, so he can have um, Discord pulled up and also have the script and not worry about as I am where I have the script and OBS and Discord pulled up for recording. I gotta jump back and forth, so that's why if our faces disappear, so it's actually me looking at our script.
Did
But
I just hear that you have the script?
I have the script for the 2023 NFL season. 2024, 2020, 2025 NFL season. But yeah, so I'm looking on my phone,
Yes.
so if I'm on my phone a lot, that is why. So the first thing that we do want to address is not the news at how we want to start this, but obviously is unfortunately the shooting in Kansas City that took place during the victory parade. If you are a Chiefs hater, like this is way too far for any fan base. Like we get that people don't like the Chiefs, but you should never go out this far out of your way to physically harm people and unalive people. Basically, one confirmed is dead, and then I think it's like 20 injured, depending on what source you look at. But obviously, this is not okay whatsoever. Whether you're a Vikings fan, a Niners fan, a Packers fan, a Chiefs fan, this is never okay. You are. This is just horrible news. So our prayers from down the sidelines, from me and Brennan, goes out to the families of the injured and obviously everyone at Kansas City. Fortunately, The three shooters have been detained, are facing punishment as they should. But obviously, like we said, this is not a way how we want to start our episode, of especially kicking off season 3 of the Dots podcast. But definitely, we do want to send our remarks out to the family, make sure all the families out there, making sure that they are doing okay, and our thoughts and prayers are with them. Obviously, you don't know me, Brenden, are very Christian. We are both very close to God. I am growing my relationship with God more and more every day. But obviously, God has a plan for all of us. I just want to say that God has a plan for all of us. He knows what He's doing. Put your faith into God, and God will guide you through these tough times.
Amen, dude. I'm actually wearing one of the sweatshirts
Yeah,
right now that's
I think
got
you just wore that
Bible
like
verse.
last episode too, and I
I,
honestly have. It's not much,
I wore it
but
on one of them.
it's not much, but it is a cross
Yeah,
with the
dude.
American flag, and the saying on the back. If you can't really see that, but I'll try to read it from upside down. It says, "Always remember, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and love more than you know." So whenever I'm going through a tough time, I
Yeah.
pull this out, I read it, and honestly, it's very true. But we never want.
And right now, I'm repping Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who is with me, and
Mm-hmm.
just like having that faith and belief in Him to be able to guide us through our own lives. It's super important, and it provides a lot more peace, even though it may not fully recover everybody in these situations. Like there's still going to be things that go on, but that's how the world just is right now, and we're getting closer to that time where Jesus, He's going to be making His comeback,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be comeback season. But can I just address a little bit of what I'm thinking too about
Yeah, go for it.
the shooting that happened?
You can express your opinions as well.
Yeah, so yeah, I just want to say, yeah, our thoughts and prayers go out to not just the people who were impacted by this event that happened, but everybody, because it seems like it's become such a normal thing these days now with the mental health struggles of people that leads up to these series of events. I'm trying not to say any certain words to end
Yeah,
up
for
somehow
sure.
getting our podcast banned or in trouble or anything. But um, yeah, I just want to pray for all of them because no one deserves to go through this at all. And Ben and I, we had the privilege to go to Kansas City back in October of last year, and we had such a great time on this trip. We were actually at the location where the event ended up occurring at Union Station, and it's a pretty amazing place, by the way. They have a really cool illusions museum that we ended up going to. That was awesome, but like it's just the fact that I was there, not at like that time specifically, but like I was there, and to think about like an event like that happening, um, even when you're not there, it's still really painful to hear about. Is deep down, you can be thinking, wow, that could have been me, or that could have been my friend, or in a situation like that. And yeah, I my condolences go out to everyone impacted. I think there were 22 people who got shot, and
Yeah,
one
something
person
unfortunately got
and one
bad.
person fatally had it on them. But I, I also want to say that this is something that seems like a regular in America, and I know that we both wish that this wouldn't happen. No one should wish for any of this to happen. I think you put it very nicely about it doesn't matter who you're a fan of and who you hate so much extremely. Um, Physical harm is never going to be an answer to
Hmm.
anything to solve anything. Um, it's just painful to see that,
It
but
really is,
I
yeah.
did I did see that Patrick Mahomes and Brittany Mahomes ended up going to the children's hospital um, to just help out one of the victims, which I thought that was a brilliant thing
It's
of
a
them. A ton
kind
of
gesture.
people,
It's a kind gesture.
a ton of people have been giving them a lot of hate comments. And I mean, the same thing with Taylor Swift. She ended up donating $100,000 to,
Two different,
um,
well, it was 50,000 between two different organizations,
yeah,
which is still remarkable.
I kept reading comment sections about like the donation and everything, and everyone's like, "Oh, she's a billionaire. This is equivalent to donating $65 or whatever in our terms." But like, you're helping.
Yeah.
You're helping out a problem. I don't understand why there's so much hate that goes towards things. This this means so much more than the game of football. The game of football is there for entertainment. This is real.
Hmm.
Like this stuff's real, and I just hope that America can get together and realize that mental health is the problem and it's the number one problem rather than a few other things that go around. I don't want to
For
get
sure.
political.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. We try to keep political stances out of our podcast because we don't find it useful. Yeah, at least to me. I'm not trying to say it for you. I'm not, excuse me. I'm not trying to
Yeah,
speak for you or anything, but we definitely
yeah,
have our own opinions that we do believe, but we are not going to share them on the show because we believe that politics should be out the window for this. This is strictly a podcast about sports and the NFL and the UFL now. So we do want to say that, but it's super unfortunate that happened. But we we both wishes our condolences to families. Obviously,
yeah,
God has a plan for you. God is there healing you, and we just wish the best for you. But I think
yeah.
this
Amen.
is a hard transition to this, but now going from on that unfortunate event, we are now going to break down the Super Bowl as a whole. So I'm looking at my phone if, like as I said earlier, because I can't click on the script, but I am using PFF, and so I'm going to be
I'm on
jumping.
Pro Football Focus
Yep,
as well,
PFF, Pro
so it's
Football
perfect.
Focus. So I guess we'll start with how close we were. So for passing, obviously, the number one passer for the Niners was Jawan Jennings. It was that trick play, amazing trick play in the Super Bowl. He becomes the second player, along with Nick Foles, to pass and catch for a touchdown. So Jawan Jennings had one completion in one attempt for 21 yards and a touchdown. Brock Purdy, I'm going to give you my prediction what I thought. I said Purdy was going to throw 28 for 35, 274 yards, two touchdowns, and an interception. Well, Brock Purdy he was 23 for 38, so it was actually pretty close. 255 yards and one touchdown. I said two touchdowns. He didn't throw any interceptions. So I was pretty close on the Brock Purdy stance with that.
Yeah, it's pretty fair.
It's
I'm
close. I mean, only three more receptions. Three not receptions. Three more pass attempts, and roughly around less than it was 19 yards that I was off by.
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive number.
And
That you got
yeah,
that close with them.
I just want to break down Purdy for a second because I think this is super important. Obviously, it did seem Purdy was a little off. Obviously, people are saying, "Oh, he's just a game manager," but you need a game manager to win games. People are saying that the brights were too light for him, the spotlight was too big, so he kind of choked under pressure. He definitely missed a lot of throws. I think there's could have been I think Purdy could have thrown for 3 more passes. He should have been 26 for 38 for 3 touchdowns. I mean, he overthrew Debo Samuel. He overthrew Brandon Ayuk for touchdowns. Just some of those
Both of
plays
those
were under
both of those
pressure.
overthrows, though, yeah, exactly. He was under pressure, and I don't know why the 49ers offensive line let Chris Jones, out of all players, get like right into his face and get that pressure because like
Yeah.
he ended up hitting him right on his, I think it was his right shoulder, right after one of his throws, so he couldn't really follow through
Mm-hmm.
completely. And I think that's what led to his overthrow. And then one really big play looking back on was the 3rd and 4 in
In overtime.
overtime
Yeah, that was a
in the red zone.
huge. And honestly, if you haven't heard that most of the 49ers players didn't know the rules of overtime. So,
Yeah, that was ridiculous. But on that 3rd and 4 play, I believe he had Brandon Ayuk wide open
for a
on a
touchdown.
crosser because he
Yeah.
ended up burning. I think it was
L'Jarius
Ladarius
Sneed. It
Sneed.
was L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah,
He burnt him, and I mean, not Ayuk. Well, Ayuk had the deep crosser in the back of the end zone, but Debo basically was running it out and up, and he had him, but Debo didn't go upfield, and Purdy thought he was going to. But
dude,
uh,
just imagine how nice it would be if we could like get a breakdown of the plays
yeah, then get
live
copyrighted
along
or
with this.
yeah, copyrighted by NFL. Yeah,
Well, we
just
don't show the plays to the people. We just look at the plays live
yeah,
and then see what
yeah, I get that.
happens.
But
I'm actually gonna I'm actually gonna try to pull it up here, see what that 3rd down play was, but keep going.
yeah, I think I'll just go through all the 49ers stats as you're doing that. But then for rushing, um, the leading rusher for the Niners was none other than Christian McCaffrey. 22 carries for 80 yards, for even 80 yards, 33.6 yards per carry, and his longest run was 11 yards. No touchdowns. Obviously, he did have that trick play catch for the touchdown to make the score 10-3, which, if you don't know, 10 plus 3 equals 13, and that's another Swift lucky number. But McCaffrey, he had like a lot of decent runs throughout this game. It was more so, it wasn't, obviously, as I said, his longest run was 11 yards. You look back, but most of his runs were 5, 6, 4 yard runs, which is, to a lot of people, is actually really good because that opens up your playbook a lot more. And obviously, on that 3rd and 4 in overtime, I thought they should have ran it. And obviously, something that I did notice in the second half that seemed to throw the Niners off was that they never ran the ball in the second half, rarely with McCaffrey. And I thought that they felt that they had to get a score, beat up by 2 scores to like feel
Yeah,
safe. But to me, I don't think that's really necessary when you have McCaffrey, the reigning offensive player of the year, the best running back in football. So why the heck are you not using him? So I think that's a lot.
they
That's a big reason why they lost for me is that they didn't run the
one
ball enough with McCaffrey.
one thing though that in that overtime they really used Christian McCaffrey
Yeah, they
well
did.
in the overtime, but then they stopped using him on that 3rd down. I thought they were gonna pitch it to him
They
on
should
that third
have.
down
I
play.
thought they were going
I
to run it with him.
because it looks like an option kind of
Mm-hmm.
play. So I have it pulled up here. We're gonna get the broadcast sound of it. We're gonna see what it sounds like here.
Oh, the third and
Here
four.
we go. Yep, on the 3rd and 4. It was
All
7:29 to
copyrights are to
go.
the NFL and CBS Sports, so we do not own any of this.
Yeah, so Purdy ended up getting rushed by Chris Jones as he was going in, but Brandon Ayuk is wide, butt booty naked, open in the end zone after burning out L'Jarius Sneed. And I got to go back on this a little more. It's kind of fun to break these plays down. So Kansas City is playing man coverage on their wide receivers. Purdy sends McCaffrey in motion over to the left, fakes the handoff. He backs up on it. Then it's Chris Jones with the pressure. Brock Purdy's backing up because he just has to throw the ball.
He has to be
Otherwise,
more of
he's
the
going to get
rusher.
sacked. And you can't blame Brock Purdy on this play at all. But if it was an option play, then there's a little bit of a blame you can put on him because he could have just pitched it right to McCaffrey. But McCaffrey had so much speed on him. It looked like number 27 on Kansas City had the coverage, the man coverage on
Oh, that's
McCaffrey.
Isaiah McDuffie.
Okay, McDuffie had the coverage on McCaffrey, but he's like 6 yards off of him here. But Brandon Ayuk wide open in the back middle part of the end zone. If Brock Purdy
Can
can just
can I
toss
can
one
I
up
just say
there,
something real quick about that? So obviously we're not showing it, but Purdy was rolling out to the right. Purdy was rolling out to the right.
I'll play it again. It almost looked like Purdy was just backing up on the TV.
Okay. So I
He,
thought he
he
was rolling
didn't,
out to the
yeah,
right.
he didn't really roll out. He took about 5 steps
Okay.
backwards as Chris Jones was coming after him. Karlaftis was also over there. He was going to try to bat down the pass. But another thing, too, on this play, George Kittle is wide open on what looks like
A flat or an out?
a flat route.
Okay. So I do want to add something because I thought he was like rolling out to the right. But if you're rolling out to the right, you never want to throw across your body. So that's why I thought that he did
Yeah,
make that choice to throw to Ayuk because he's throwing across his body, even though he was wide open. But yeah, I
yeah.
don't have the play up in front of me, but I kind of just want to get through these stats. So with San Francisco's leading rusher was none other than Christian McCaffrey. He had, oh, hold
80
on,
yards, I believe.
I don't know if that's for both.
I think he had 80 yards
Eight,
carrying and 80
okay, 80
yards
yards receiving.
receiving.
Yeah, 8 targets, 8 receptions for a whopping 10 yards per reception. Jawan Jennings, he was the one who caught the well, besides McCaffrey, who caught a touchdown. Jawan Jennings also caught a touchdown. 5 targets, 4 receptions, 42 yards with a 10.5 yards per reception. Obviously, we were discussing this, but if the 49ers would have won this game, MVP would have been Jawan Jennings. Hands
Oh yeah,
down.
100%, 100%. But San Francisco, if I believe if Christian McCaffrey doesn't fumble it on that first drive
They score.
of the game, they have a score right off the bat in this game. And there are so many other situations and scenarios in
Yeah,
this game, like the blocked extra
the block
point.
extra point was a big one because that erased a 1 point lead. Well, a 4 point lead actually. So it would have forced Kansas City to score a
Blocked.
touchdown on their
Yep.
last drive instead of kicking a field goal to send it to overtime.
And blocked by none other than the Wisconsin legend, Leo Chanel.
Yes,
And he had the fumble recovery.
he did. He had himself
Actually,
a
he
good game.
punched it out and he got the recovery.
Yeah. So that's really it. I mean, the most surprising fact. Oh gosh, I forgot to go over my predictions for the rushing. So hold on. So I
Yeah, break
said
those down.
CMC would have 27 carries. He had 22, so 5 off for 128 yards. So he had 80, and then 2 touchdowns. He didn't score any. And then I put it in the tight ends because I thought obviously Kelsey and Kittle are the two best tight ends in the league. I say Kittle's would have 8 receptions, 86 yards, and a touchdown. George Kittle was non-present during the Super Bowl. He had 3 targets, 2 receptions for 4 yards. They locked Kittle up. He was not. I don't know what was the deal with Kittle, but he was not doing good at all. It was. If you get Kittle involved, I think it's a very different game.
Well,
But
what's
this was
crazy,
not good for Kittle.
Matt, what's crazy is Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator of the Chiefs, he ended up playing blitzes. He's the most blitzing defensive coordinator in the league, by the way. He ended up, I got to find the statistics on this, but I believe it was over 66% of the time that he ended up playing the blitz, which is absolutely crazy. I don't know if George Kittle's weakness is on that. But if anything, it seems like Kittle was a lot more of a blocking tight end in this
Mm-hmm.
game than actually running routes down the field. So I think San Francisco's game plan was to let Christian McCaffrey run the ball. And they did that in the first half. San Francisco was in complete domination in the first half of this
I think we
game
can both agree
because,
that even though it was such a low scoring game, but San Francisco was in total control.
yeah, that they completely were. That first half, a complete domination, only 3 points the Chiefs had. And it was right at the end of the first half as well, going into the Usher halftime show.
Oh my
And then all of
goodness,
a
so
sudden, they
good.
changed their game plan.
Yeah,
I don't know why San Francisco ended up changing their game plan so much.
I
I
think
don't
it's
know if they wanted to
because
try to get. Go ahead.
I think it's because that they wanted to get up by two scores to have a comfortable lead over the Chiefs, and they thought that the way to do that was by throwing the ball, which was not true at all. So their plan
We've
was,
seen what happened.
I mean,
Matt, we have seen what happens with teams who throw the football when you have the lead in the second half of the game. It happened with the Atlanta Falcons against the Patriots. They ended up choking that 28-3 lead.
mhm,
This ended up happening um, back in Super Bowl, I think it was 56, um, with the Bengals and the
the
Rams. Joe Burrow had the lead, ended up throwing it a little more. He started to lose it a little bit, and then the Rams came back, they won the game.
mhm.
Um, so like this isn't like a rare occurrence to happen. This is pretty
No,
normal.
it's
Um,
it's unfortunate because when you have the most reliable, I don't know if it was because that CMC fumbled in the first half and that's why they kind of stepped away from it. I don't know, but a fumble is rare by McCaffrey. I think he's only had two fumbles during the regular season. I know one was against Minnesota. That might have been his only fumble. I don't know,
yep.
but it's
I
so
think you're
rare for
right.
him. I think it's so rare for him to fumble the ball that when he did, I think kind of shocked everyone and they didn't know what to do. So maybe that's why they kind of just went away from it. But yeah, if you want to break down the Chiefs stats, the Super Bowl champion stats,
Oh yeah,
you can do that.
I definitely can do that. But like, I just want to go one more point to what you're saying. You have the offensive player of the year on the football field. Like, use him. Just use him. You're gonna win the game if you use him properly. San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan, they didn't use him properly in the
And
second.
now Shanahan is 0 for 3 in Super Bowls. He has given up double digit leads to two teams, two against the Chiefs and one when he was at Atlanta. Obviously, the 20-3 lead. So
Yep.
yeah, so obviously,
And yeah, another Super Bowl where that same exact occurrence happened. It was Super Bowl 54. They ended up passing the football. Jimmy Garoppolo, out of all guys, like, what are you doing? San Francisco, they did have chance to like lock that game up
mhm.
if I think was it Kittle on the deep pass? I can't remember who it
I
was
can't
on
remember.
that
I didn't
deep
watch
route
that Super
with
Bowl.
about
I was
4 minutes in the
work.
game. That's unfortunate.
I
I'll break
know.
down Kansas City here for us so we don't take too much time. But in this game, MVP of the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, what else would
Can
you
I say
expect?
something about this? I don't think Patrick Mahomes should have won Super Bowl MVP because in
Do you think
reality,
it was Harrison Butker?
yes, I think it should have been Harrison Bucker because it was a kicker's game. It was a super defensive game, but there was still a lot of offense with no scoring. So it wasn't like the what Super Bowl was it? Was it Super Bowl 53 with the Patriots
With the
and
low scoring,
yeah, Patriots
the
and
Rams.
Rams. Yeah,
Yep.
13-3. I think that was Super Bowl 53. But this was a kicker's game. Obviously, Jake Moody set the Super Bowl record at 54 yards, and then
Yeah, we had two Super Bowl
Yes, and
record
then
field
7 minutes
goals.
later, Harrison Buckner comes on and kicks it from 57. So this was a kicker's game, and Buckner made 2 field goals over 50 yards, or it was a 49-yarder and then a 57-yarder. Which
Moody also made two 50-yard field
yeah,
goals in this game.
and so that's 3-6. I think they scored 2 touchdowns. So that's 9 points out of the 22. Like that kicker, Bucker had roughly around almost half the points. Almost had 47% of the points. But I
Yeah,
think Harrison Bucker should have won MVP not only because he scored probably the most points for his team, but also is now the holder of the Super Bowl record for longest field goal. But obviously, I don't. I think they gave it to Mahomes because Mahomes led the game-winning drive. I think that's why. I think the only.
Mahomes in that game-winning drive he was the greatest football player
Mm,
of all time on that drive. Like, I mean, we're gonna get into greatest of all time type of thing, but that final drive of that game,
it seems
he
so
had a
stupid.
4th and 1 where he had to make a play, and he ended up making the play. But I'll just break down
Break
the
down the
stats that we
stats.
have here. So Patrick Mahomes, he ended up going 34 of 46 with 333 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. He got sacked 3 times in the game, and his overall rating was a 99.3, 10 better than Brock Purdy. My prediction for Patrick Mahomes was 27 for 51 with 301 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 INTs. So I was about 32 yards off on the passing, and for attempts, I was 5 attempts off the mark, and I had 7 completions off there. But I did have at least one interception in there. I thought he was going to throw for more touchdowns, though. I was very shocked
One
by
thing
the way the game played.
I think a big thing that comes into play was obviously the Drake Greenlaw injury. Obviously, he runs out to the field and he tears his Achilles. Obviously, those
That's
two, and
sad.
then guess who they targeted? They targeted that backup linebacker the whole game. It wasn't until fourth quarter and overtime where they put Fred Warner on Kittle, and Warner was jamming him at the line. He put Kittle on his butt, but ultimately
Or
the
Kelsey.
yeah, Kelsey. Did I say Kittle?
You said
I
Kittle.
meant Kelsey. Yeah, Warner was putting Kelsey on his butt, and ultimately, it was like a 3rd and 2 that went for like 39 yards or like 29 yards. Didn't jam it off the line of scrimmage. He just ran a simple drag route and just turned it upfield.
Yeah. I will agree that Greenlaw's injury, Drelaw, kind of funny. Greenlaw's injury, it was one of the turning points
Yeah,
of
obviously
this
there was
game.
two very different reactions from each team. Obviously, you just saw Fred Warner put his hands on his helmet and just start screaming no.
Yeah,
And
he was
then
heartbroken about losing his guy.
I don't know. It didn't seem much, but it seemed like Mahomes was happy. He's like 57's hurt, 57's hurt, 57's hurt. Like he kept on pointing that out. Obviously, then they just targeted number 48, the backup linebacker for the Niners. And also, he proved to work for them because they end up winning the game. And that's the Kittle will be 1-on-1 on him, and I mean Kelsey was 1-on-1 on him, but yeah, it worked out for them.
And yeah, I'll break down more of what was going on in this game because it's already close to five
Oh
o'clock here.
yeah, you
But
gotta leave soon.
yeah, I gotta leave in about 25, 30 minutes. But I also talk about Isaiah Pacheco in this game. He had a fumble in this game, which was his very first fumble of the season, which is crazy for a guy who runs like a madman. But Pacheco in this game, he ended up having 18 carries for 59 yards. And yeah, that one fumble lost,
You're
no
pretty
touchdowns
you're
for
pretty
him. I
efficient.
had a pretty accurate guess with Pacheco. I said 16 carries and 75 yards and no touchdowns.
I
I would say that's pretty
That's
close,
pretty good.
dude.
I remember you saying that he was going to run too hard, that he was going to injure himself. I thought you said he was going to run too hard and cause a fumble after the Super Bowl, after re-listening to it. I thought you said he was going to run so hard that he fumbles it. But yeah, that was a pretty darn accurate description on your prediction. 16, 75 yards. I mean, can't get much closer than that.
I'm bowing. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
You're
sir.
welcome.
Uh, um, the next thing to break down, the leading receiver of this team, none other than Travis Kelsey. He had a total of 10 targets in this game. He had 9 receptions, 93 yards, no touchdowns at all in this game. I thought he was going to have the game winning touchdown, though, right before the overtime. I thought it
Oh
was
yeah, the
going to
one-on-one with
happen.
Fred Warner. I mean, Warner did a great job. He played the ball. He saw the hands, swatted at his hands. Kelsey dropped it, sent it into overtime, and then
And that wasn't the,
he
to me, that
almost
wasn't the
scored.
play.
He almost scored the game-winning drive in overtime as well. He got to the 2 yard line. I'm like,
No.
in my head, I'm like, they had to tackle him because Kelsey knew that the script was for him to catch the game-winning touchdown. But they had to go off script for one play.
Yeah. And actually, going back to our last episode, I accidentally said my purple lights were the Fearless album. That's incorrect. It was Speak Now. I just gotta clarify for the folks. But for Travis Kelsey, I said he'd have magic over 13 receptions. Kind of close.
Yeah, 10.
127 yards compared to the 93 and 2 touchdowns. So I was off with the touchdowns and yards by a decent amount, but he was the leading receiver in the game for Kansas City.
And
Following him, though, was McCole Hardman. McCole Hardman had 3 catches in this game. He had one really big catch in the game. And you can call it the game winner, which, let's say this, Jim Nance made such a fantastic call at the end of the
yes,
game when McCole Hardman made the catch.
I
To
don't.
say jackpot in Las Vegas, that is brilliant call right there.
Also, I don't know if you saw like the post game interview, but he said that Mahomes went up to him and was like, "You just caught the game winning catch and touch."
He didn't know
And
that they won.
he didn't know that. He's like, he even says like, "Yeah, I just kind of just blacked out for that play. I don't remember what even happened." Like he doesn't even know what happened. And also, I want to say on um, that play, I'm actually gonna pull it up on my phone.
Jackpot
I just
Kansas
want to give
City.
this a breakdown because as a tight end and as an offensive personnel, I think it's
As a
fun.
person in as a person for me, once again, sports broadcasting, jackpot Kansas City
Yes.
in Vegas. Mm,
So
so
obviously,
good.
I gotta wait for these ads to finish up. So
But as we're waiting on that, McCole Hardman, I'll break him down. He had 57 yards on the 3 receptions, and he had the game winning touchdown in the game. And the other touchdown receiving went to Marquez Valdez Scantling, the guy who was dropping the ball quite a bit, but he made the catch when it mattered. He had 3 receptions for 20 yards and a touchdown.
yeah, so obviously, I don't know if you said this, but Mahomes was also the leading rusher for the Chiefs. I think he had 66 yards.
I did not say that. And I did predict Patrick Mahomes was going to do really well with running the football because for some reason, he always does. I don't
Yeah.
get it. But yeah, 9 carries, 66 yards. His longest run
Yep.
went for 22, and that was in the overtime
Mm-hmm.
possession of the game.
So So I have it. It's first and goal on San Francisco's 3 yard line. You have Trip Sponge right with two tight ends. You have believed to be Noah Gray, Travis Kelsey is on the line, and McCole Hardman, who's a wideout. And the lone receiver on the left side looks to be Valdez Scantley and Pacheco in the backfield. So everyone gets set. Hardman um, comes into motion inside. They're playing man to man. Tre'Davious Ward's on him, and this looks like a lot how they beat the Eagles last year, just with those
I
quick
saw
motion.
that.
When they ran this play, I immediately thought of them running this play with Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney against the Eagles last year. So he does kind of a split fast inside motion, doesn't come across the line of scrimmage, basically right behind, in between Noah Gray and Travis Kelsey, and he goes straight into that flat. And Tre'Davious Ward, who's his man, has got
He just
to
got burnt bad.
he got burnt bad, but also you can say offensive pass interference on Kelsey because he's in the end zone and Ward is trying to get off of him. Or no,
There's
excuse
a
me,
lot of
no.
controversy.
Ward was not it. The defender was number 33. So if I back up,
There's a lot of controversy too
yeah.
about
So
offensive
Ryan,
linemen on the
yes,
field.
we will talk about that after this. So
Yeah,
Ryan is the man. So he's right up, face up against Kelsey, and you see Harmon comes in, and he goes over. He gets it. So Ryan gets basically stuck in between Noah Gray and Kelsey, which leaves McCole Hartman with the flat wide open. Catches the ball, turns in, and the rest is history. Honestly, Travis Kelsey before even the pass was thrown, he's just sitting there with his hands up, signaling touchdown. So that's something I kind of find. But yeah, this reminded me a lot of how they beat the Eagles with those quick whip routes, or even motion into the flats, just because they were playing man on that play, and the Eagles were playing zone. So they would hike the ball as Bradbury. I forgot who the other safety was. Oh, it was C.J. Gardner Johnson.
yep.
So they would pass them off. Say, hey, he's coming to your zone. They would hike the ball as they're transitioning. They would go back into the flat and run it in. A lot similar how they beat the Niners and Eagles. But yeah, as we were saying, the
Yeah, do you want to break
offense,
that down for
yeah,
us, talking about
the
that
holding
play?
or the play or the
Not the holding.
okay.
So there's controversy about on that last play of the game where a couple of Kansas City linemen were illegal players down the
Oh
field. Do you want to break that down?
yeah, I can pull that up again real quick. But yeah,
I mean, otherwise I can break it down because there is a rule
you
about it.
a lineman cannot be 2 yards down the field. So that's what happens with a lot of RPO plays is that linemen
More further
will
than 2 yards.
no
Further than
further.
2 yards down the
Yeah,
field.
1 for 2 you can be considered a lineman, and then obviously anything after that is considered illegal man downfield. So it actually makes this pretty easy because they are on the 3 yard line, so they can't go past the 1 yard line basically.
Yes.
So if I have my trusty handy dandy phone, so I'm looking at the offensive line, legal formation, tight end, two tight ends, as I said, trip bunch right. So basically, yeah, just outside. And now, oh, I see. I see what you're talking about. So I've stopped it right as Mahomes threw the ball. I'm gonna see if I can wind up maybe a couple seconds.
A lot of people are complaining that this should have been a flag. I myself, I agree with the rule
I
that
agree.
with the
So
call.
he cannot go past the 1 yard line. And I
Are you
see
saying you agree with it being a penalty, or are you saying you
yes, yes.
agree
So right now
you think it's a penalty?
the ball is out and they're at the 1 yard line, which is two
There's
yards.
no further than 2 yards down the field. That's the rule. So
Well, they're inside
this
the
is why
one. They're inside the one, so that makes it a flag.
I would still say that it's
And
two
one guy's
yards
in the
down the
end
field.
zone. One
If a
guy is on
guy
the goal line.
steps their foot on the goal line, then it's a penalty. That's what I think personally.
But yeah, obviously you can't go more than 2 yards. One guy was on inside the one, the other guy was basically on the goal line. Should have been illegal man downfield, but we can't. We're not the refs. But also another controversy, as we're going to get into, was the misholding calls because I saw so many misholding calls on the Chiefs. I mean, basically that four of San Francisco's basically destroyed the front seven of Kansas City. It basically came down to Kansas City tackling the Niners players and hugging them. And it was ridiculous that how many missed calls there were. I mean, if I'm being honest, they really let the guys play. They let them play. They didn't call them any penalties, but wherever there was a holding on San Fran, they wouldn't call any for Kansas City. But I don't know if you want to get into it. There's not much we can do. It's just if we want to complain.
Yeah.
I chose the Niners to win, so I'm a little more biased, but at the same
Yeah.
time, what's done is done.
I have finally ended my streak of getting so many games wrong, dating back to Super Bowl 52. And this is just like a heavy weight lifted right off my shoulders, man. Like, Ben and I kept sending Snapchats to each other throughout like the fourth quarter and the overtime of the game where so you know on Snapchat how you can have like the
The
camera
double
facing you
camera,
and the
yeah.
camera facing the other way. Yeah. So we had the double camera on. And for like each play in the overtime in the fourth quarter, we just kept sending each other back and forth our reactions to the plays. And then when San Francisco made that field goal to take the lead in the fourth, Ben's like, yes, yes, yes. I'm just like, okay, dude, Kansas City's going to come back. I think they're going to win it right here. Travis Kelce's going to get the game winning touchdown. Even though that
Unintelligence.
didn't happen, I'm recording the Harrison Butker field goal with about 4 seconds left. And I'm like, yes, Kansas City tied it. They're going to win the game. Even though I didn't want either team to win, but since I picked Kansas City to win, I want to get that trophy back. And then it was just all back and forth of us sending each other reactions through the end. And then when him and I both recorded the final play of the game
Oh my
at the same
gosh.
time, you could just tell
You
the
could tell
reactions.
that Ben was so upset because I saw him. I was like, I'm so sorry, dude. I also picked the 49ers.
Yeah,
He's like,
Bennett.
this is stupid.
Yeah, Ben's recording like this, and then he sees the touchdown, and his face just goes
And then he throws
like
his phone
this,
on the
and it
ground.
drops his phone. Yeah, it just goes on the ground. And then there's me when I'm watching. I'm like, come on, guys, come on, score the touchdown. And then I see the touchdown. I'm like, yes, let's go. I'm getting that Lombardi back.
Yeah.
Ben was not happy about it.
So one thing I want to save the GOAT conversation for very last because I want to get over for our bets that we made. So the
Oh, yes.
national anthem, we both picked the over, and
This is the easiest over of all time.
well, it was almost an under because Reba sung the Brave twice, which put it over by like 3 seconds.
That is crazy. It's just compared to last year, how it was over 2 minutes
Yeah,
long.
that I
And
heard
then
90
this time,
seconds. I'm like, whoa.
yeah,
Coin toss. I said heads, and you said tails. It was heads.
there was another coin toss, though.
It was. That is true. But this was for we didn't know. Also, guys didn't know. Get your free 6 wings at B Dubs because the Super Bowl went into overtime.
Oh, dude, I need to go to B Dubs. I didn't even know that.
It's till the 12th or the 24th, I think. So obviously, I have a
Let's
friend who
go.
works at B Dubs. He's like, yeah, just 6 wings. So I was like,
Wait,
it's
could you do this on a Thursday with the boneless wings and then get 6 more for free?
probably yeah.
What? That's nuts. I'm going to B Dubs on Thursday.
So yeah. So for Super Bowl MVP, I said Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy, which probably would have been Juwan Jennings. And you said Travis Kelsey. It was Mahomes. This is the second
Yeah,
year second year that we had Kelsey winning MVP. I had Kelsey winning against the Eagles, and then you had him. So for the halftime show, which I am going to say was a very bad halftime show, it was not good at all. I did not like it. It was very sus. It was very weird until Ludacris came on. But the guess that we had guessed was Justin Bieber. Both got wrong with that.
there were so many guests
It
who were
was
out
Ludacris, there
there.
was Lil Jon. I think Kanye was even out there, I think.
Kanye was not. Will I Am was there. Alicia Keys,
Yep.
her. Yeah, there were quite a bit of
Yeah.
guests that are
So
out there.
Malfunction, as we said, I said no, and Brendan's like, you know what, just for the gigs that I'm gonna say yes, and it's true because one of the roller skaters flew off the stage.
I said someone was gonna fall in our last episode. You can clip it. I remember saying somebody was gonna fall,
Yeah,
and what
and
happened?
someone
A roller skater
fell off the
fell.
stage. Um, the first
Amazing.
song by Usher, I said DJ Falling in Love, and you said You Make Me Wanna Say, and none of those. I think your song was played, mine wasn't.
How is DJ not played?
I don't know. It's weird. But the
I swear, it's
Gatorade
like his most
color,
popular.
yeah, Gatorade colors, none of us got right. You did say that purple was a leading factor, and it indeed was
It
purple.
was.
My two choices were purple and white. I picked white, and Brendan picked the best color, which is yellow. Obviously, that's not. And obviously, for our predictions, I had the 49ers winning 34-28. And Brendan had them winning 31-28, and the final score
I had the,
was 25 to
what do you
13.
mean them winning? I had the Chiefs winning.
The Chiefs won, yes. Did I say? I thought I said that.
No, you said you had the 49ers winning. You said the score, and then you said I had them winning
Oh, well, you had the winning team.
31-28.
You had the winning team, 31-28.
Heck yeah.
But, yeah, what time do you got to leave at?
I gotta leave in about 15 minutes
All
or
right,
so.
so we can spend the next 5 minutes or a quick discussion, or we can save for our next episode Brady's versus Mahomes GOAT conversation.
Ooh.
Do we end on a
I say we
cliffhanger?
save this.
We save it
I
and we end
say
on a
I say we
cliffhanger?
save this for the people because I kind of want to prepare some notes for this because this
I
is
do too. So,
a pretty big one.
okay, so how about this? We'll do rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and whoever wins gets their choosing of coming up with an argument between for Brady. Then
Oh
whoever
my
does, oh well,
gosh.
not whoever comes up with the argument for Brady, but you get to pick who you want to come up with the argument for.
So we're playing this debate like if one person is against the other belief, they could possibly have that one and they have to come up with something.
Yeah, so you have say if you
All
have
right.
so if you have
All right. This
Mahomes,
will be
you're
fun.
venting about Mahomes, how he's the greatest of all time, and I'm
I
venting
get it.
against Brady, venting for Brady why he's the best of all time.
I get it. Okay.
So we're gonna do so it's gonna be rock, paper, scissors, shoot. And to make it better, to make it more fair, we'll have our eyes closed. And to so I'm actually gonna oh I can't do this.
What do
So
you mean have our eyes closed?
because
What's gonna
okay,
matter?
why? Because first off, because I don't know how long the delay is. So that's why. Because if you have a 1 second delay, you know what I throw, you can just easily change it.
I mean, it seems like your voice is matching what's on my screen
All
right
right.
now, so I think it's fine
All right. Well,
as long as we clearly see our
yeah.
hands.
So it's rock.
So
Paper.
what does the winner get? Do they get to
They
choose?
get to choose who they want to talk about. If they want to defend Mahomes or if they
What?
want to defend Brady.
All right. So if whatever the winner
The
gets,
winner
that's
gets
definitely
choice.
their idea.
Winner gets choice.
Yep. All
All
right.
right. Ready? Rock.
Rock,
Paper.
paper,
Scissors.
scissors,
Shoot.
shoot,
What do you throw? Scissors?
scissors.
Okay, I have scissors as well. All right. Ready?
We were definitely not in
No,
sync
we
on
weren't.
that though.
This is why I'm saying we have our eyes closed so that we don't know.
Fine,
Okay.
fine.
All right. Rock. Paper.
Rock,
Scissors.
paper,
Shoot.
scissors, shoot.
God
Paper.
damn it! I mean, shoot!
You do this every time.
Oh
Is
my
this best
gosh.
out of three? Or is this just one?
It's just one. We're
All
tied.
right,
All right, ready?
all right.
Rock,
Rock,
paper,
paper, scissors,
scissors, shoot.
shoot.
I fucked up. We're gonna redo that
Shit.
one.
Oh,
I
oh, you
fucked.
get me
I
caught.
screwed
You
up.
get me
I
caught.
screwed up. I screwed up.
Language, dude. Language.
Not only that, but I went rock, paper, scissors,
Dude, you said
shoot.
scissors twice.
I know I did.
Oh my gosh, dude. How do you mess that
I
up?
don't
I think
know.
I win.
Yeah, you
I think
win.
I
I'll give you it.
win.
So who do you want to talk about?
Tom Brady.
Darn it! I want to talk about him. All right.
Well,
So
Tom Brady is the GOAT. I'll just say that.
all right. So next episode, we're gonna have a GOAT conversation between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, where Brenden is defending Tom Brady and I am defending Patrick Mahomes on why he should be the GOAT conversation. But Brenden,
Should be fun.
this should be a really fun episode. So Brenden, take us away.
I will take it away with a kickoff or a punt. Goes flying. I caught it. All right. Here on the home sideline, here in Stevens Point, for our Dots Season 3, Episode 1 show
Season 3
is your boy,
kickoff.
Brett Stack of Golf, 99 Brett's Brendini. Brenden Retzloff right here. And this was a pretty good one.
I enjoyed it. Obviously, I'll upload this right away. So roughly around 5:30, this should be up. Obviously, you'll see our faces for the whole thing because my notes are on my phone, so we got that covered. But anyways, here on the away sideline at Lakeland University, it's your boy Matt Crowley, aka Matty Icy, and thank you guys for joining us for our kickoffs to season 3. And next episode, we are going to be talking about, as we said, the Tom Brady versus Mahomes debate on who is the GOAT. See who is clearly the greatest of all time.
One more thing before we go. It's still bright outside, even though it's
It
super
is.
duper
It
dark
is
in my
5:17.
room.
It is 5:17.
Like, this is the best part about the days of winter when they start to get longer.
And
Short days, they suck.
also, I do want to say one more thing. Who is your UFL team? Because I got mine. We got to support our UFL teams. Brendan's got to look up because he doesn't know who the teams are.
You are right. Why are we talking about this?
I think we got to establish this first so we're not saying, oh, we're bandwagons.
I know there's I think it's like a Roughnecks team. I've heard that one before, and I've heard the Battlehawks one before, but I don't really know.
You can just pick
Oh,
a team.
here we go.
You can just pick a team. Pick your team because I have mine.
Dude, I know which one you're picking.
Which one?
Dude, you're gonna pick the Showboats.
Oh no, that's not what I'm picking.
Oh, you're not picking the Showboats?
No, I got one. I've been a fan of the XFL for a little while, and I watched it with my buddy, so I have a team.
I'm definitely not picking the Panthers because the Carolina Panthers are a disaster. Yeah, let's go with the Houston Roughnecks. Let's go for
All
it.
right. I think they're the USFL or XFL reigning champions.
Let's go.
So
I'm a bandwagon fan.
So Brenden is supporting the Houston Roughnecks, and I am supporting the St. Louis Battlehawks.
That would have been my number 2 guess for you.
And my number 2 team is probably going to be the
I'm picking the Showboats as my number 2.
My
I
number
love
2
the
is going to be
name.
the Brahms, or whatever their name is, the team that
The
destroyed.
Brahmas.
Yeah, the Brahms.
The Brahmas.
The Brahms. But yeah, that's my number 2 team because of destroying. I like this destroying. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Next episode, Brady versus Mahomes, GOAT conversation. And with that being said, we will see you guys next episode on Down on the Sidelines.
See you, everybody.